Well, first of all, the police aren't making as many arrests and crime is up, and Elon's stressing about that. And it's because he has police officers like Jacob and Marcel. Jacob's so damn dumb, he probably can't solve any cases. And Marcel's a dirty cop, so he's not really working hard on cases. So Elon should look around him and see who's to blame for that. What is up, fellow Beyond the Gates watchers? Here to discuss today's Monday episode, which I was pretty entertained by. I felt like they mixed things up a little bit today, and I do think soap operas need to mix things up from time to time. The biggest thing mixed up today were the Leslie and Marcel scenes, but we'll talk about that in a while. Today's episode also was setting up our short week of the show and kind of preparing for the characters' Thanksgiving, which I assume will be tomorrow's episode because the show's not on Wednesday, Thursday, or Friday this week. Let's start with, I guess, Ted and Kat, who Ted started the episode to invite Kat to spend Thanksgiving with him this year. She was happy about that at first in hopes that it meant that it would be without Eva. But no, in Ted fashion, he wants both of his daughters to be able to get along and have Thanksgiving with him. I liked Kat saying that she's sick of people saying she's the selfish one when Ted is clearly the one being selfish, wanting his perfect Thanksgiving with his two daughters. And also calling Ted out that it's going to be all Eva all the time until he feels like he's made up for lost time. Now, on the flip side, I do understand where Ted's coming from as someone who, in this storyline, didn't know about Eva and now is trying to make up for lost time. It's why I've always said when some people in the comments are like, Ted should kick Eva and Leslie to the curb, I think the way Ted's character is presented now, at least, maybe not when he was younger and got Leslie pregnant, but now at least it seems as though he's trying to build that relationship with Eva and make up for lost time. Also in these scenes between Kat and Ted, I did like that she finally admitted that she can't stop him from having a relationship with Eva, but she is feeling like their relationship doesn't matter as much anymore. Kat is definitely struggling with not being the only daughter of his anymore, or maybe not even the baby anymore, since Eva as it's been presented, Eva is like a couple weeks younger than Kat, so Eva's the baby of Ted's as well when it comes to age. Later in the episode, Kat ranted to her mother about this, and Nicole was also thinking it's a good idea for Kat to have Thanksgiving with Eva, which I still question. As I said last week, I don't know why the other characters are so pushy with Kat to have that sisterly relationship with Eva. If Kat doesn't want to have that relationship with her half-sister, it is her prerogative. I do still think that Kat needs to get over the situation and that, Eva is a part of Ted's family now, but I don't think that necessarily means she has to have that relationship with her. Luckily for Kat, she ran into Tomas today and told him about her Thanksgiving dilemma, and Tomas gave her an extra choice. She don't have to spend time with her father and Eva or with Nicole. She could spend Thanksgiving with him, and she seems to think that's a better choice, which I question. I don't know if I would want to spend a holiday with a robot like Tomas, but I guess it is the better option for Kat here. Earlier in the episode, Tomas and Bill were meeting to discuss Tomas's job at Bill's firm. Bill is bringing up Tomas's relationship with Kat because he's been with the Dupree before, and he doesn't want that relationship to ruin Tomas's progress to become a partner at the law firm. That may have played into Tomas wanting to spend the holiday with Kat, and he seems like he wants to be more bold with their relationship in public, I guess. I don't know. I've never been feeling the Kat and Tomas coupling, and probably never will, or will I ever be feeling the Tomas character in general. Now, Eva started this episode with Leslie talking about how they're going to spend Thanksgiving together because they still kind of feel like it's them versus the world, which is probably the mindset they always had growing up, which makes sense. Eva then went to go see Izaiah, and Ted interrupted them before they could kiss again when Izaiah was coming on strong to Eva. Ted was really being overbearing father where Izaiah is concerned, introducing himself to Izaiah, realizing it's Jacob's younger brother. Another character bringing up the fact that Izaiah had an incident at Jacob and Naomi's wedding, I guess. I did find it stupid of Ted, and this is just more bad writing for Ted, which seems to be an always theme for the character. I think Tomas is the boyfriend or just the guy he should be checking. He has learned that both Eva and Kat have slept with Tomas, and that Kat is still wanting to push forward with that relationship with Tomas because she's a pick-me. But he's checking Izaiah instead when he obviously knows him from the past when Izaiah was younger, but like still. Why is Ted checking Izaiah but not Tomas when Tomas is the problem for his other daughter, Kat? But I guess we just have to chalk that up to more bad writing for Ted. They love to write Ted as someone who just makes bad decisions, kind of a bad parent, even though he got praised for being a good parent today by Anita, Nicole, Dani, I guess, or at least by Anita. Anita said, at least the Duprees pick men that might have faults, but they're good fathers or something to that effect. But I question that where Ted is concerned. Ted learned that Eva made plans with her mother already for Thanksgiving. Eva doesn't want to abandon Leslie on Thanksgiving, even though she then had a flashback to the time earlier this year when Leslie kicked her out of the apartment and had a flashback to Ted bringing her a birthday present. But Eva doesn't want to do that to her mother because, as we know, they have that toxic relationship, and Eva just can't cut that cord yet, I guess. But then Ted leaves, and I'm sure we're heading towards some sort of Ted, Leslie, Eva spend Thanksgiving together story. But Eva and Izaiah have time together again, and once again they are interrupted before they get to kiss. This time Izaiah is getting a call from Jacob, which we'll circle back to that. Luckily, after that phone call, Eva and Izaiah finally get to kiss in this episode. I am enjoying the early days of Eva and Isaiah's relationship possibly forming, the, I guess, flirting that they've been doing, heavy flirting and heavy kissing too. They are two characters that like to heavy kiss, which I'm all for. You know, this show needs some passion in their couples, and maybe Izaiah and Eva can be the one to give the show some passion. They also want to compare notes after Thanksgiving and see which family had a more dramatic Thanksgiving. Now, as for Leslie, she's at the bar and Marcel arrives, and Leslie recognizes him as a cop, saying she hasn't had a lot of luck with cops in this town, bringing up self-righteous Jacob, which is music to Marcel's ears because Marcel hates working with Jacob and he hates how self-righteous Jacob is. Marcel brings up the fact that they used to be partners, but they're no longer partners because he can't stand Jacob pretty much. They introduce themselves to each other, but Leslie learns that Marcel is married, although he and his wife clearly don't have a good relationship. And he doesn't want to get a divorce because he doesn't want his wife to take half of his stuff before he retires, because he's been planning this retirement for so long, even though we know Joey's keeping him from retiring. He then brings up his boat, which he's brought up in the past, that he loves way more than his wife. And I think Leslie was enjoying the flirting by the end of the episode. And frankly, I was enjoying it too. I think that not necessarily am I thinking a Leslie and Marcel pairing is the way to go, but seeing these two characters scheme together could be fun. And I love schemers on a soap opera. And sometimes those schemers are just friends. Sometimes they developed from friends to lovers. But in this case, I think they could be good for each other on this show as schemers. And I hope this is not the last scenes we see of them. I felt this way in the past when the show decided to mix things up. That one time Dani and Doug had a drink at the bar, I was wishing for more of them together, which we never got before they killed Doug off. So hopefully we do get more Leslie and Marcel at some point. By the end of the episode, Leslie was putting his wife down, comparing her to Shrew Nicole and saying she's a free agent until Ted makes a move on her, basically. But then Ted did arrive, and Leslie left that conversation with Marcel. Of course, before she left, she had to include that she's rich. She had to tell him that. And then Ted and Leslie shared some scenes, which is why I think we're going to be getting our Eva spends Thanksgiving with her parents story tomorrow, but we'll see how that goes. But I did enjoy the Leslie and Marcel scenes a lot today. Possibly the highlight of the episode. I also like seeing Elon again. Elon's another character I wish was on more. We got to see the Hawthorne drama where, well, first of all, the police aren't making as many arrests and crime is up, and Elon's stressing about that, and it's because he has police officers like Jacob and Marcel. Jacob's so damn dumb, he probably can't solve any cases, and Marcel's a dirty cop, so he's not really working hard on cases. So Elon should look around him and see who's to blame for that stat. But then the episode brings us to Elon and Jacob discussing Izaiah and how Izaiah turned down Thanksgiving this year, and Isaiah's just going to take the mom out to eat for dinner or something. Jacob wants to call Izaiah and convince him to come to Thanksgiving. Elon doesn't think Izaiah should have to be begged to spend Thanksgiving with the family. But at the end of the episode, Jacob calls Izaiah, wants him to pull up to Thanksgiving, says if it's not with the Hawthorns, at least join him and Naomi with the Duprees for Thanksgiving. So they are setting it up as Jacob and Izaiah have a good brotherly relationship, but of course Elon and Izaiah are at odds. We'll see if we actually get a Hawthorne Thanksgiving. It would be nice to see the mother and maybe, build upon another family on the show here, because I think Elon could be a entertaining character going forward. I think there's enough. I like the actor that plays Elon. He does give me toughened, dirty cop. He does that very well. And then the only other thing today was Dani's back from the honeymoon, told her mom and Nicole about her canceling the business in LA with the Foresters and taking a honeymoon with Andre instead. Dani even admitted that she has fallen in love with Andre, which is a big step. Nicole's surprised to hear that Dani is using the word love for someone other than Bill. I'm happy to hear her use that for someone other than Bill too. And the fact that we're getting Dani admitting to falling in love with Andre, I think is a big deal. And this really could tie in good to the future triangle that I think we're getting with Dani, Bill, and Andre. Today, Bill is at the place at the club talking to Tomas, like I mentioned earlier, and Dani and Bill seeing each other from across the room. I think Nicole and Anita are happy to see her moving on from Bill. I like Dani saying that it's good to have a man that loves her flaws and all, because with Bill, she felt like she always had to be the perfect trophy wife. It's playing again into Dani and Bill's toxic marriage and toxic relationship, which I am hoping the show does a good job of keeping when it becomes inevitable that Dani is moving back into Bill's orbit because of the Haley poisoning him storyline. That's good writing. There's layers to the Dani, Bill, Andre stuff, and that's why it's one of the best storylines going on the show. Bill ends up interrupting the ladies by the end of the episode, again wanting to talk to Dani about Winterfest, which is just an excuse for Bill to talk to Dani. He just wants to have those moments with Dani again. We are seeing that Bill has it bad for Dani again now that she has moved on with Andre. And just like a typical toxic old man, that's why Bill is trying to get back into Dani's orbit. But I'm looking forward to where they take that. as I think I mentioned on the Soap Opera Sunday video yesterday, I do think we're going to see the effects of Bill's being poisoned at Winterfest. And I think that might kickstart Dani back in Bill's orbit. I'm looking forward to that drama. Anyway, today was a pretty entertaining episode. The only other episode this week is on tomorrow, so it's a short week this week, unfortunately, for us with Beyond the Gates. We'll see what tomorrow's, I'm assuming, Thanksgiving-themed episode brings.